Welcome to Discover Woodfield, your guide to what's happening around the Chicago suburbs. And now, here are your hosts, Lisa and Joe.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Discover Woodfield. How are you?
Yay, Woodfield. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
Summer is coming to a close. It surprises me always how fast summer ends.
Mm-hmm.
1 week it's 95, and the next week it's 75.
Yeah, the great thing is you get to open up the windows and, fall.
Oh, I'm not complaining.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of beautiful places to be in the lovely, cool, fall-like weather, where are we going today?
We're going to Lynfred Winery in Roselle, in Illinois.
Roselle.
I almost said Indiana.
No, it's not Roselle, Indiana. It's right here, practically in our own backyard, practically in the backyard of the Schaumburg Flyers.
That's right.
For some good Illinois wine. It's Illinois' oldest operating winery. They opened in 1979, and it's still under the direction of its creator, Fred Kohler.
Illinois wine?
Illinois wine. Imagine that. Yes, they've been going for, as we said, since 1979. They're in a 24,000 square foot facility. It's right down on Roselle Road. They take the grapes there. They import the grapes from various regions all over the...
Right.
Depending
so
on
it's
what
not
kind
a
of wine they're
vineyard,
doing.
actually.
Right.
It's just a winery.
But they take it and they process it, and it's a wonderful experience to go out there. Just if you're just going to we spent a Sunday afternoon there, and it was absolutely wonderful.
Actually, to say it's just a winery is completely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It is so much more than a winery.
It really is.
But it's not a vineyard. Where to begin?
I don't know. Where should we begin?
Well, let's begin with your average afternoon at Lynfred Winery.
Okay.
What might you do if you stop by Lynfred on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon?
The best thing to do would be to get there around either 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock, because you can take a tour of how they make the wine. Get to actually take the tour of the winery.
A free tour.
Mm-hmm.
What better way to get in the mood for tasting wine?
Exactly. Actually, before we get into that, we should mention when you drive up, there's basically it's an old mansion.
It's gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. And you pull up and you actually pull in off of Roselle Road and you go behind the building. And what they've done is they had the mansion, which was the original part of the building, and then they built onto it using the same architectural style as the original building.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go in, it's like going into a giant living room, really, almost. Mm-hmm. And there's actually a bar. It's a wine bar. Mm-hmm. And all different types of wines you can sample, which we'll get to in a minute. But if you go for the tour, one of the lovely staff members there will take you and will herd you, and I mean that in the most positive sense of the word, down to the area of the building where they do the wine, where the vats are, and where they go ahead and explain the whole process on how they go about creating the wine, how it's aged. They show you some of the barrels, and they talk about the different types of how the different wines are processed differently, the aging
Mm-hmm.
process, what the difference is with the barrels or not the barrels in some cases. And it was very good.
And the bottling process.
Very, very informative, very interactive. If anyone had any questions, the groups were fairly small. Our group, there were probably about 25 people or so.
Tops.
Yeah.
I think it was more like 12.
Oh. Well, I tend to exaggerate.
But yeah, it was a nice small group, and we got a great insight into how wine is made right there.
Mm-hmm.
You would never guess just to drive by. I mean, you see a beautiful building in the sign, but you would never guess that they really are making wine in there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on to the good stuff.
Yes.
Let's talk about wine.
Okay.
For $7, you get the 7 wine tasting. I think they typically do 3 whites, 3 reds, and a fruit wine. In our case, they did 3 whites, 3 reds, and then an apricot wine that was amazing.
Yes.
And then they had a special featured premium wine also. For $7, you get, you get a good sized tasting. I mean, it's not a sip.
Right.
We probably spent like an hour.
At least.
Just tasting the 7 wines. You get them one at a time. You sit, relax, enjoy the wine. You can buy snacks at the bar, or they have complimentary bread to nibble to clear your palate. Mm-hmm. It's really a lot of wine and a lot of variety for $7.
Right.
Considering you would pay $7 minimum for a glass anywhere else.
Exactly.
And actually, you can do that at Lynfred too. If there's just one that you really love or want to enjoy, you can get a glass. I think definitely the thing to do is get the tasting.
The neat thing is that when you go in there, you go into the bar area that we described, you pay your $7 per person, and then they'll give you a glass, and then you go out to an area that's sort of it's almost like a mezzanine type of area where that's overlooking, it's actually overlooking the area where they make the wine.
Uh-huh.
And what you do is there's a person out there who's pouring who will explain what each wine is, and they take you through the course of the different wines that you have. And then they'll explain it, and then you can sit and taste it. You can linger as long as you like. You can sit there and taste it, and there are other people who are there. You can converse with the other folks who are there doing the tastings.
Sure. And actually, by the time we got there at 2, by the time we were getting ready to take off around maybe 6, we were kind of there a long time.
Oh yeah. We didn't want to leave.
The wine bar was really hopping.
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't say it was a bar type atmosphere, but it was definitely a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
There were a lot of people browsing the gift shop and buying wines and buying snacks and tasting and all sorts of things and having a really good time. They also, and I think for me, this is a big selling point, because the problem I have is if I taste 7 wines, by the time I get to number 7, I don't remember number 1. Mm-hmm. Not from overconsumption, but because all those flavors get confused in my head. And they provide a great little guide to the 7 wines, and even a little area where you can make some notes of what you thought of each one, and some food pairing suggestions, and some really, I think, really accessible descriptions of what the wines taste like, without being too, jargony. Descriptions of the different kind of fruit flavors and body and mouthfeel. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's jargony. I don't know.
But it is true. And then the idea being that once you go through the tasting, and if there's something that you particularly like, then obviously you can go into the shop and you can buy a bottle, a case, whatever. You can also join.
And of course, they're all Lynfred. Maybe it goes without saying, they're all Lynfred wines.
And they also have clubs. They have there are different levels of wine club memberships you can have as well. You get exclusive recipes, technical data, winemakers, tasting notes, grape history. If you join what they call the NRC club, you get 6 reds, 6 whites per year. And then if you can also join just the white wine club, which includes 12 white wines per year. They also have a reds and breads club, which gets 12 red wines per year. It's one per month. The club sounds just really interesting. Sounds like you can get all sorts of interesting stuff. They'll pick something out for you. They'll explain it to you. You get 10% off on all wine purchases up to a case of one variety or mix, and then 20% on all wine purchases of a case or more of one variety or mix as well. Also with members with their club, you also have a private wine cellar dinner, educational seminars, fun and festive excursions.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Bread coupons for the Reds and Breads members, and then all different sorts of things that go on with the membership as well. So you can get the wines delivered to your door. I
decided after our day at Lynfred that we should start eating in like a French style, splitting like a loaf of bread and a bottle of wine for dinner.
There you go. And that's the way to do it. Some good cheeses or something like that.
Yeah, and a nibble of good cheese.
There you go. Okay.
We'll die happy.
That's right.
That's for sure.
It's a wonderful experience, and each month they have a different set of wines that they go through. And as Lisa said, they have whites. They go into the sweeter wines. They go into then they take you through some of the rouges, and then into the cabs, and then to the dark, and then they finally finish up with the dessert wine. And then they also tell you, in addition to the spot for you to rate the wines, they also have a spot in here that say who at Lynfred Winery, whose favorites these are. So then you can say, you're the one who liked that Chardonnay, aren't you?
I've got your number. Can I just be really honest?
If you must, sure.
We had heard about Lynfred from friends. We'd heard we've been down there. I mean, we've been in that area. We've seen Lynfred. We know about Lynfred. Mm-hmm. Lynfred's always at Chef's Fest in the spring. April, yeah. But I always thought, really, you have to pay for a tasting? Because you can go to a wine shop and taste things for free. But I'm of a totally different mind now.
Yes.
It's a great deal. Yes, there are places you can go try wine for free. But this is much, much more than standing in a shop sipping wine.
That's true. They make this experience really, really nice.
And so, from my point of view, I didn't initially see the value in paying for a wine tasting, But now having done it at Lynfred, absolutely worth it.
Yeah.
And a great deal.
It really is. In fact, one of the things that we discussed when we were sitting there enjoying our wine was that this would be an awesome place to go on a date.
It would be.
A first date, dinner, drinks, whatever, that's one thing. But something like this, I think you can tell a lot about a person by how they'd interpret their wine.
Well, sure. I mean, you have the wines to talk about. There are other people around. It's kind of a social, it's kind of a group situation in that there are other people you could chat with. But it's not like a bar.
Right. It's not like a bar. It's not like a restaurant.
And you have the wines
different
to talk about. And then after 2 or 3 of these little tastes of wine, the conversation starts to flow.
Exactly.
But unlike a bar, it's not a bar. And so nobody's going to overdo it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
No one in your party or any of the other parties.
We should also mention they have as we touched on, they have the gift shop where you can buy the wine. You can also buy breads. They bake their own breads there.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started on the food. The bread was amazing. You can get a little snack tray of cheese and grapes to enjoy with your wine.
We tried We tried the fresh Parmesan herb bread. Oh man, talk about amazing stuff. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. And they have different spreads there as well.
They have all kinds of things. The breads they make there, some of the other things they bring in. They have bottles of apricot wine dipped in chocolate. Mm-hmm. In a whole bottle dipped in chocolate.
Now that's what you bought your mom as a birthday present,
yeah,
right?
I hope she's not listening.
No.
Well,
you just blew the surprise.
She'll find out soon enough anyway. But the real hidden treasure, if you can believe it, after all this, there is a hidden treasure.
Wait, there's more?
I couldn't believe it, because after the tasting, I was having such a blast. And then we got to go upstairs, and I could not believe there was yet more to be enjoyed upstairs.
Okay. Well, the first thing we saw when we went upstairs was a large room where they would do events if you wanted to have a meeting or if you wanted to have some sort of group dinner or something like that. They had a room for that. Mm-hmm. That was very nice. But there was something else up there?
They have a bed and breakfast up there.
Really?
Did you know that?
I was unaware of it.
Do you know anybody who would know that?
Well, yeah, the people at Lynfred Winery would know that. They told us about it.
Well, our new pals at Lynfred Winery, yes. We've stayed in a few bed and breakfasts. This was unlike anything I have ever seen.
True.
This was, dare I say, world class.
It really was.
Absolutely.
No exaggeration.
Stunning. Not only of course, if you stay in the bed and breakfast, you get all kinds of wine and cheese and fruit and bread related add-ons, and that's great. But absolutely the most gorgeous rooms I have ever been in anywhere. Even better than a lot of hotels we've stayed at. And we've stayed at some nice hotels. We have indeed. Now, a bed and breakfast is different. The rooms are unique. They they each have their own character. Their own motif. But I have never seen anything like this. Mm-hmm. Simply stunning. Absolutely top of the line bathroom facilities, if I may say so. You know, those like big showers that you see with jets coming out from every direction. Right. I sound like such a dork saying that, but really the kind of stuff you would only expect to find in hotels that we're not even allowed to walk into unaccompanied. That is true. Well, wait a minute. I want to see your rap sheet that's preventing that from happening. The suites they have 4 different suites, and they're decorated in regional wine decor. There's a German themed suite with acorns and sort of woody looking type of thing. There's a country French design, which also is again focused on the French and flower type of motif. The Tuscany region is well represented in the Italian suite, which has heated floors and just the most beautiful tile in there as well. And then there's a Frank Lloyd Wright influenced American suite, which I thought was really charming as well. Very unique and very Chicago based. Yes, I mean, grounded in Chicago. But yeah, absolutely wonderful. And if you're a guest at the bed and breakfast, in addition to the bed and the breakfast, you also get, obviously, you get a private wine cellar tour, a complimentary premium wine tasting. You get bottles of the award-winning Lynfred wine.
Hearty appetizer tray from the kitchen, a fresh fruit tray with fresh baked bread. Right there. I'm sold. Homemade chocolate truffles at Turndown, made-to-order gourmet breakfast, and customized spa and dinner services are also available.
And the rooms are on the top floor of this mansion, this indescribable, this amazing, gorgeous mansion. The top floor is the bed and breakfast. They have a balcony-style porch along the top floor where you can go outside and enjoy your wine and appetizers and breakfast and all the food they lavish you with.
Then also you have on the floor in between the suites, there's a huge glass panel where you can look straight down into the winery again.
That's really
cool. So
cool.
you're actually above the room where you do the tasting, if you can envision that.
Yes.
You have the winery downstairs. You have the little mezzanine area for the tasting. I'm making a motion with my hand right now. I know you can't see that. And then right above that, there's where the bed and breakfasts are. And there's a beautiful Tiffany. It's a Tiffany-style stained glass panel, but you can look down through it and you can actually see the winery all the way down. And the wood is beautiful. The hardwood is gorgeous.
Yeah, everything is just, everything looks brand new and yet totally original. It's amazing. I honestly can't even imagine, and I am not aware of, a more beautiful place to spend a special occasion, a wedding night or a night or two for an anniversary. I just can't even imagine.
And we were told that there were celebrities, Chicago area celebrities, who have stayed there.
Who shall remain unnamed.
That's right, because they will. So there.
Because we're very discreet, and because we have no idea.
But we can guess. We know who you are.
No, we don't.
So if you're looking for a great way to spend an afternoon, or if you're looking for a special occasion for where you might want to stay at a bed and breakfast and have an overall winery experience.
Or if you're looking for a facility for a party or meeting. Smallish party or meeting.
Yeah, exactly. Check out Lynfred Winery. They are at 15 South Roselle Road, located in Roselle. They're open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. daily. The tours are done 2 and 4 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. The tour is free. The wine tasting is $7. You can visit their website at lynfredwinery.com. They also have, we found out, a blog, which is a lot of fun. They talk about what's going on at the winery. It's lynfredwinery.blogspot.com.
And a very sincere thanks to everyone at Lynfred for really genuine hospitality.
Exactly.
And a lot of fun.
Everyone was great. Christina Anderson Heller was the person who dealt with us.
Boy, did
she deal with us. No, she was wonderful. She took us on the tour, and she took very good care of us and really gave us the history of the place. So it was a lot of fun. So thanks a lot to Christina for all the help with that as well.
Yes.
What a great time. All right. I think that's about it, right?
That wraps it up for this month.
Okay. As always, feel free to shoot us a note. And we'd like to invite you to check out our other podcast, Cheap Date, which is found at cheapdateshow.com.
Comments, questions, things you'd like to add, other places you think we should check out.
Please let us know.
Thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for downloading Discover Woodfield. Be sure to visit our website at chicagonorthwest.com, or you can email us at discoverwoodfield@gmail.com. Discover Woodfield is produced for the Chicago Northwest Convention Bureau by Cheap Date Media at cheapdatemedia.com.